Hey guys, it's Trey back again with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be continuing on with our programming fundamentals course. And in the last lesson, we talked about variables and we set up a variable here. And we also printed that variable to the screen. Okay. So if you're not familiar with that, go ahead and go back to the last lesson. If you know what variables are, you're in the right spot. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about data types. And a data type is just a way to classify these values that we assign to these variables. Okay, so cup is the variable. We assign this value to this variable, and that will determine this variable's data type. Okay, so the data type that we assign here is what is known as a string. And a string is nothing but just a string of text. So basically we have these characters, COFFEE, and these are all characters and they're strung together by surrounding them with quotation marks. And that's where we get the name string. Okay. So we have this string that says coffee. Okay. And that will be the data type for this cup. All right. So in JavaScript, there are 5 basic data types. Okay. So pretty much all variables in JavaScript are going to have these types. Now, there are some complex types that we're going to talk about later. They're going to have their own separate videos, but today we really just want to talk about these basic 5. Okay. So the first one we're going to talk about is strings, which is what we just saw. It's just some text. That's all it is. Strings are text. That's it. They're surrounded by quotation marks. You can use double or single for the purposes of this video. You can use either one. Doesn't matter. Okay. So remember here we used single quotes, but we can use double quotes here if we wanted to. It'll work just the same way. I'm pretty sure there's going to be somebody in the comments telling you that why you should use one over the other or whatever, but just know for the purposes of this video, you can use either or. All right. Next up is numbers. So numbers are basically just integers or decimals. So when you create a variable that is a number, then it will get the number type. Okay, that'll be its data type. It wouldn't be a string, it would be a number. Okay, and that is denoted here. So on line 20, we created a number data type. So we have a variable called number and we assigned it the number 100. So JavaScript will know, oh, this is a number type because he put a number here. It's not surrounded in quotes, which means that this is a number. If we were to do this, this would be a string now. This would not be a number anymore because we surrounded it with quotes, which would turn it into a string. Okay. So number, no quotes, string, quotes. All right. So now we have a number. And then the next type we want to talk about are Booleans. So Boolean values are just either true or false. So we have this Boolean here. If we look at line 21, we set up a variable called Boolean and we set it equal to false. But we can also set this Boolean to true. And that's it. That's the only 2 values. It's either going to be true or it's going to be false. That's it. All right. So that's a Boolean value. Okay. So that's that data type. Then we have 2 data types that are pretty similar, but they're not the same thing. It's going to be kind of confusing when you're learning JavaScript for the first time. Why do we have undefined and null? But they have 2 different definitions. So an undefined data type means that there was no assigned value. So if we look at line 22 here, we created a variable that is undefined because we don't have an equal sign and some value. So basically this value is undefined. So we don't know what it is. It doesn't have a data type. It's undefined. We don't know. Okay. And then there is another type called null, which means we have an empty assignment. Okay. So here we're setting this empty on line 23. We're setting this variable that we called empty equal to null. So we're assigning null to this empty. So basically, technically it doesn't have a data type either. It's just empty. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to come down here and print out each one of these variables and their data types. All right. Once again, don't worry too much about these two. We're going to go over those in a different video. All right. So I'm going to run this. So I'm going to open up my terminal. I did that by using control and then the little tilde key is next to the number 1 on, at least on my keyboard. It's above the tab. So now that I got that open, I'm going to run this by typing in node space pf_lesson_3.js because that's the name of this file. And then when I click enter, we just ran this file. So basically we set up all these variables and then we printed them out to the screen. Okay. So if we look at it, we'll see that we have, I'm going to skip over these first two because those are, like I said, once again, another video. Let's look at these 5 down here. Okay, so we have this first one that we set up right here on line 19, and we printed out string, and it printed out the value of that string. And then we also, if you look here, we're printing out the type of that string. So this is printing out the data type, and this is called a string. So as you can see, I wasn't lying to you. Also, we printed out number, which we defined right here. And as you can see, it's a number. And then we print out this Boolean, which is has the value of false, and it's a Boolean. Then we print out undefined, which has a value of undefined and a type of undefined. And then we printed out this empty, which is a null value, and it's of type object. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. It's just data types are a way to classify the values that you are putting in your variables. Okay. So that's pretty much it for this one. Remember these 5 basic data types and you'll be good to go. You'll know what types there are. In the next video, we're going to go over these arrays and also loops because they go hand in hand. All right. So I will get into this in the next video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel and all that jazz. And I will see you guys in the next video.